Hi guys, my name is Amy and today I'll be showing you simple steps to create your own wine and paint session at home. Our painting today is a simple sunset with a skyline going across the bottom. Before we start painting, I'm going to go through all the supplies that we'll need today. First, you'll need a canvas. I'm going to use an 8x10 canvas board, but you can use any size that you want. Next, we need our acrylic paints. We're only using 3 colors for this painting. So you're going to pick 2 colors for your sunset, any 2 colors you want, and then black for the skyline along the bottom. You're also going to need some brushes. So I have a variety pack that I got, and from there I pulled a spongy brush and a square brush, just because these are the kind that I like to use, and you can use any kind that you prefer. You can get all these items from any craft store or stores like Walmart or Target, and for those of you who don't like to leave the house, everything's on Amazon, so you can just order it right to your door. I'm also going to be using a paper plate as my palette for my paints, a little cup for water to rinse my brushes, and paper towels to wipe my brushes on. These are all things that you can probably find around your house. Lastly, and most important, is your glass of wine, so make sure to fill it all the way to the top, because the more you drink, the better of an artist you become. Let's get started. Now that we have all our supplies gathered, it's time to set up. We're going to squirt our paint onto our paper plate, so we're going to have a little glob of our black and 2 big globs of our sunset colors. You're going to make sure you have water in your little cup, and you're going to get your brushes wet, so that way they're ready to go. Now that we're all set up, we're going to have some wine and get painting. We're going to start with our first sunset color. We're going to get a nice bit of paint on our brush, and we're going to start going back and forth across the canvas. And it doesn't have to be perfect. And take more paint as you need it. We're going to go about 3/4 of the way down. Don't worry about it being exact, but you want it to be nice and wet because we're going to blend the second color into that. So make sure you've got it going almost all the way down, and we're done with our first color already. To make the second color a little easier on ourselves, we're going to just flip the canvas over, and we're going to do the same thing with our second color. So just get a nice glob of that, and don't worry about rinsing your brush because we're going to blend the colors together anyway. So get those blended in the middle, and you're going to go about 3/4 of the way down again. And the point of that is you want each end to be a solid color, and you want the middle to be the blended sunset part. There we go. Like I said, don't worry about it being exact. Feel free to take a sip of your wine now, because we're going to wait for the sunset to dry a little bit before we do our skyline on top of it. Okay, now that our sunset seems pretty dry, we're going to start on our skyline, and we're going to start with adding some large buildings first. So get some black paint on your brush, and we're going to start just by marking out where we're going to put them. They can be different heights, whatever you guys prefer. And I would do 4 or 5 depending on your canvas size. So just start out by making lines and marking where they'll be. And you're going to go in and make them a little thicker, so that way they look more like buildings. Make sure they go all the way down to the bottom. So just make sure to go over them to make sure they're a nice solid blacks and there's no colors peeking through them, because you want a nice solid building. Now that we have our tall buildings done, we can add in some smaller buildings in between to fill in the skyline. So just like the taller buildings, I'm going to mark out where they are. And they're going to be varying heights as well. You just want to fill in the whole bottom so it's a full city skyline. So just mark out where they are, and then we're going to go in and make them full solid buildings like the other ones. So I like to have all my buildings connected, so I filled in little buildings in between each of the bigger ones, and then even smaller buildings in between all the little ones, so that way we have a full skyline going across the whole bottom. Now that we have our full skyline, we're all done. A big congrats to you, because now we have a beautiful finished painting.